I am currently 24 years old. I used to be studying graphic design. Now I'm taking courses and reading books about filmmaking, because I think that's what I need to do in my life, filmmaking. So, in summary, I will say I'm studying filmmaking and storytelling right now. Well, currently my dream job is to be a filmmaker, but not only a indie filmmaker, but one of the greatest filmmakers ever. Because, well, I think that filmmaking and films themselves are the greatest school. Why? Because the kids, when they go to school, they get bored and they don't want to go anymore. People when grow up, they still thinking about school as a kind of awful experience. They had to go learn, they had to go home, doing homework. So what's the thing with the films? That the films are a way to teach people without them knowing they are being taught. You can teach people about philosophy, about maybe language through film, through your films, documentary films, fantasy films, any kind of films. Now, sometimes, of course, people cannot teach technical information through films, but they can inspire people to want to learn that. If I had enough power and money, I will. Well, sounds a little fantastical, but I will create smaller cities. Why? Because, well, the big cities that we are used to put everyone against each other, not in a how do you say this word? Well, they do not express that they are putting each other against each other, but there's a lot of competing for survival in the big cities. That's what they call the concrete jungle. So by making smaller communities, smaller cities, probably resources will be not that luxury, but people, as individuals, will grow more, because they will need to grow more in learning, in the ways of thinking, in the ways of creating, because they will not be facing each other for survival, but for growth. If you see, for example, there are some rural communities here in Mexico which decided to become independent, and they probably have still ideas that are not that good, but they are capable to be a sustainable community for the environment, therefore being a sustainable community for themselves. So if we all lived in smaller communities with the modern ideas of humanity, I think we will become more powerful than if we kept together in big cities. So I will do that. I will disintegrate cities and create smaller communities, probably not that far away from each other, probably communicated through internet, through water sources, through electricity, trains, that will grow more by individual than as a community we know right now. They would become probably not in a sense of nation, but in a sense of community. They will grow in that sense because they will know each other better. They will see for the partner around, and not only for themselves. So yeah, that's what I will do with power and money if I had, also with time. Yeah, well, that's a question I've wondered myself many times, many times from years ago. If I had all the money and resources, I will quit my job and I will focus fully on my projects, my audiovisual projects, my writing projects, my perhaps even my musical projects. I will focus on my art, which I think is the most powerful tool for changing the world. I think it's Archimedes. He said, if you give me a support point, I will move the world. He was referring to the lever principle. No? So yeah, if you give me a point where I can balance the lever, I can move the world around. No? But yes, I will quit my job, I will focus on my projects, and probably I will go elsewhere in the world so I can make these projects become a reality. And I always wanted to go, particularly to maybe California, because I know this is the top of the radio signal in the world. The movies from Hollywood goes to every part of the world, every part. So if I climb, if I go to the top of the radio signal, the message spreads wider. So going to the place that is the highest place where you can send a message is the most effective way. Another part of the situation that I face myself is I will do it by myself, as I've been doing for years, or I will allow people to do with me. And my latest resolutions have been that I will allow people that I will know that they have more talent or more capacity to help me with this. You know? I am recalling to this guy Jodorowsky, I don't know how to call him in English, you know. He used to have a project of making the Dune movie, but with his style. No? He never got the money, but his conceptual art became basis for a lot of modern movies. Star Wars, Terminator. Sci-fi is based on the attempt of this guy. He never made it through, but he became the blueprint for everything in the modern movie industry. You know? There's a phrase as well that I've heard recently, that a quote, that there are some attempts where even to fail is glorious. No? But that's the thing, you have to try. If you don't try, you will never know. So right now, I don't have the money, I don't have the resources, but I'm trying. So imagine what will happen if I had the money and the resources. I think, well, I repeat to myself that the world will already be changed, at least in a little level. It's curiously enough that Mexico is one of the richest countries in the world, at least talking about the environmental resources. No, we have, let's say, water, not that much, but we have oil, we have minerals, we have vegetation, we have animal diversity. So why, if we have all this set up to become rich, we are not? No? I will say that 70% of Mexico is poor. No? Why is that? Well, because we are a tier 1 country, and we are influenced by the first world countries, not only in their monetary management, but also in ideologies. Why should we have the ideology of a country that does not share the environment with us? We should take the best of them that apply to us and use them to strengthen ourselves. Now, since we are looking for a model that is probably not even useful for this time, even in the countries where they were built, I think that we need for, and probably not a total eradication, but just this lowering of poverty in Mexico, is to restructure how economy works for us. Probably becoming a little more independent, but if we become a little more hermetic, we might be able to focus on our own needs, as I stated before, and strengthen taking examples of other countries like Cuba, they have one of the greatest medical systems in the world. They have probably not the greatest economy because of obvious situations of blockings and stuff, but they have developed one of the greatest strengths by becoming isolated. Now, I do not suggest this level of isolation as a country, but yes, probably a diminution. Probably a diminution in the influence of other countries and or influence in other countries. If we want, as Mexico, to become a most powerful and richer country. Same thing for the individuals, the people as individuals, no? To stop looking for a growth in the traditional way, at least in the economy situation, but for example, trying to create in their houses hydroponia, planting their own harvest, filtering their own water, recycling their own paper. These little actions probably can make us to become individually richer. We can make a little of introspection, and with this introspection, take our greatest capacities and exploit them individually as a country, and probably losing the fear as well, losing the fear to poverty, losing the fear to hunger, because we know how it feels and we don't want to go there anymore. But when you have lost what you fear the most, when you have faced your greatest fear, then it has no power on you anymore. We are already poor, then why should we be afraid of being poor? We are already poor. For example, my case, as I told you, why do not leave this job and focus on my projects? Because I am afraid, because I have to pay the bills. Right now, if I apply these ideas that I'm talking about with myself, I will already left here and became fully focused. But I think it's still a phase of my own shadow that I have to battle with. Think more, face our own, so we develop an answer how to get out from poverty by facing it and finding another way to live. Less consumption of things that we don't need. This is a classical hippie thought, but we can do enough with the things that the world has given us. To create more is just vanity. Of course, I cannot answer for them, but I will answer of what I see. But I have mother, I have female friends, I have a sister, a little sister, and what I see in them is that they are treated as infrahuman sometimes even. They are treated sometimes even as a comedy. Why? Because, well, I think this is spread all around the world, but here in Mexico, because we are a new country with all ideas, that women still be treated as if they were equipment from marriage, a tool that the man has. Some girls are still told that they should learn how to cook, they should learn how to become good wives, even though this is impacting with the new modern ideas of that women are just human beings like everyone else. The idea here that I'm trying to go to is that even though Mexico has a lot of renewed feminism strength because of the lately performed manifestations and protests, the government still just telling, yes, sure thing, take what you need and go away, leave us alone. They still haven't done the real changes they need to do because of the conservadorism that Mexico has. So the girls have more power between the people of our age than against the people that controls the country and their parents and the older generations, no? Because, for example, here on internet we are free. Most of the times, and mostly in the this kind of progressive ideas, we are free to express, and that's something that they didn't have before. A place where to gather and talk about. Here's when most of the new laws that have benefited the women have born in internet forums, no? So I think that the situation on the internet can help for the girls and women to grow a better, let's say, army as they gather more people. Of course, there's sometimes the radicalization, but it's not natural. No? But what they have done is so even amusing, so overwhelming that they have even been capable of making laws that protect them when no one else talk about that. Girls and women in Mexico are so powerful. The government fears them. The government, their parents fears them. The police fears them. And I think they should be feared because they are so angry, and they have to be angry, and they have all the reasons to be angry. And if the Mexican community and the Mexican environment does not change to protect them, there will be consequences. And I don't know if I should, but I'm looking forward for these consequences. I want to see I don't know, but I do not share a lot of ideas with my male friends, and I want to see them to fall from their comfort zone. Sometimes probably violence is necessary. I will not do it, but I know it's natural for them to do it, to use the violence when they are not heard. Because, there are no revolutions made, at least not that many in the world, without a little of retribution. Of course, there have been peaceful revolutions in the world that are so admirable, but I think in Mexico that's not an option anymore, since of course we are a country of traditions, but unfortunately we are a country of war. Probably not as other countries in the world, but in this case girls unfortunately have to fight, literally fight, to be heard. Well, I've seen a lot of movies. I've seen a lot of commercial movies, a lot of artistical movies, indie movies, old movies, probably movies that have never been made. But my most favorite of all time, the top of the top for me, is Children of Men. This film is made by the director from Mexico. It's called Alfonso Cuarón. I think he's pretty famous because of his work in Hollywood. But this movie, Children of Men, I like so bad because how I think it's based on a book, but the way he expresses he translates the book to the movie through the camera makes like you are living in that world. And the world portrayed in this movie is so similar to the modern world. So that's why I think I felt so identified, because it resembles a lot to the Mexico I'm living in, the community I'm living in, a community in war. That pretends that it's not in war, just like in the movie. This movie is I recommend it hardly because it's no, I totally recommend it because it's like looking to the future through a looking glass. There's all of the issues that we face in the world right now, but at their worst. And it's kind of a warning: where are we going, and what do we have to do to become better and avoid the disastrous future. So, Children of Men, I think you totally should watch it. If you have, you probably would share this idea with me. It's one of the greatest movies ever made. I will compare it to Apocalypse Now. It's in that goodness level, and it has a lot of ideas to transfer, to transmit, to let us know.